That's the Police and Don't Stand So Close to Me here at BBC Radio Oxford, 12 minutes past 3. My next guest has formed a unique collaboration. He's been at the top of his game for 50 years. I was about me saying that. Gave up a potential career in astronomy to become a rock star. She is a star of the West End. The new album is called Golden Days. Before I chat to Kerry Ellis and Brian May, let's hear a track from that new album. This is Roll With You. Phew, I'm exhausted. From the new album, hang on. There we are. Golden Days. It's Brian May and Kerry Ellis and Roll With You. And Brian and Kerry are with me. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, Nick. How are you going?
I'm very well. Who is responsible for the line I'm going to call you on my iPhone? Come on, be honest.
Me. We actually debated it a lot. We thought, we thought, should this be in there? Is it advertising? Is it favouritism?
Should it be a bit more generic.
Yeah, so we had a couple of there was a couple of alternatives, but we left it in the end. It sounded it had a ring to it. If you get what I'm saying,
it could have been iPhone, Samsung, smartphone.
Remind me of how you two met, because it's a great story.
It's a long time ago, really. I was in My Fair Lady, and Brian came along to watch the show. Happened to be casting We Will Rock You at the time, brand new musical. So asked me to come along and audition, which I did, and I got the role of Meat in the original company, and that was kind of in 2002, a very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
And,
so what was the connection then? What was, obviously something clicked between you two that led to this point.
Well, I watched her develop this role. It was a new role which she was creating, and I realised that she was a musical theatre person, but she had a really innate sense of what rock was, and she brought fantastic drama to my song, No One But You, which was one of the highlights of the first act in those days. And I just thought, how wonderful it would be to work with this person and see what I could get from her. See, that I just could see so much of a kind of rock star in Kerry, which perhaps she hadn't even seen at the time. Having said that, it didn't happen instantaneously. Neither of us were available. We were both busy. She's in the show, I'm doing Queen stuff and whatever. But we found time to just try a few things out in the studio, and it turned out to be really exciting. I'd never worked with a woman singer before, seriously. I'd never produced one. And it was a journey of discovery. Yeah. But, she's exceptional. She ain't any singer, unusual, very unusual.
What are you like? Who has then taken the bigger leap? You, Brian, with working with a female singer, or Kerry coming from musicals to a rock concert performance?
Hard to say, really. I guess we met in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, and then I think that's what's interesting about this album is that our journey has really changed along the years. Obviously, I came from musicals, but alongside that, I had this studio and an act developing as such, but we weren't really aware of it. It used to be Brian produced anthems, and it was kind of my first solo album. Whereas now we've been out on tour as an act, as a duo, and done an acoustic tour and done various performances all over the UK and Europe. And this album seems to be like we've finally met in the middle, and this seems to be the collaborative pinnacle, if you like, of our journey.
Yeah, Brian, can I ask you how different is it to writing with Queen with Freddie in mind to writing now with Kerry in mind?
Well, there's certain similarities and there's certain differences, really. I mean, obviously, sort of technically, the keys are different. You get used to writing, thinking in a different key, different set of keys, because, I have to learn where Kerry's voice sits. So that's a different thing. It's obviously a bit higher than what we do. But it's also different because the sort of emotional content is different. And as a bloke, you feel differently about hearing a woman's voice to what you do hearing a man's voice, And I worked really closely with Freddie in a way, sort of almost like trying to get inside him, With Kerry, I have a different view. I'm sort of sitting outside watching what she does as a woman, and to get inside that is tricky, you know, and I regard it as a great challenge to give herself.
Women are tricky.
Yeah, I mean, tricky per se, yeah.
Oh, it's all coming out now, you two. It's all coming out now.
Yeah, but if you get it right, you know, the sound of a woman's voice is something so emotionally charged for us all.
Yeah. Seems like this CD is your life in a nutshell, Brian. There's a nod to Gary Moore, great guitarist. We have tunes from some exceptional songwriters, plus songs about animal rights. This is you on a CD, isn't it?
Well, us both, yeah. We're both very concerned with animals. Yes, you know, and there's a bit of, you know, Roll With You is very much Kerry's life in a nutshell, in a sort of figurative kind of way. But yes, it's nice to combine all these things, and particularly Born Free and the Hedgehog song, as we call it, which is Amazing Grace, another story. Yeah, they combine things, and we actually went out to Africa and helped Virginia McKenna save lions, and we played to her and with her. She's been a big influence on our lives.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that on the album.
Yeah. Which is best for you, Kerry? Obviously, because you've done so much. Clearly, We Will Rock You, Wicked on Broadway, Les Mis. There is this. Well, I think it's a dreadful word. It's crossover artist. I don't sing. I don't play an instrument, but I don't like it. But it's bandied about. Is it fair to sort of tar you with that brush?
Yeah. The thing with crossover, it feels like you've kind of jumped ship and gone to the other side. And I think with me, it's been simultaneous. So alongside all the theatre that I've done and do, I've done my solo stuff and worked with Brian and been in the studio and done concerts myself. So it happens at the same time. So, but yeah, I guess maybe I am that. I don't know. I don't like to really put a label on it as such.
But is there one thing you love above all else? Can you actually sort of differentiate between being in a brilliant musical or actually playing on stage with an acoustic Brian?
For me, it's about I get my most joy from the live performance, whether that's in a musical, whether that's as myself, or whether that's performing with Brian. For me, it's about the live performance and just being in front of an audience and trying to make them feel something, and giving an honest and impassioned performance. I think for me that's where my excitement lives and my passion. And I think what's been a challenge for me over the years is trying to capture that in the studio. And I've learnt along the years of how to do that, and things that I perhaps don't think are my best qualities. Brian's probably explained to me that they are, that rawness, that perhaps there's impurities that where I see that's not my best, they're perhaps what people might find interesting, and allow myself to go, okay, let's let that go out there and see what people think, and it is what people love.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Brian,
you might be right. You might know a thing or two.
Well, I think so.
That's
Brian,
interesting. That's interesting you say that. Yeah.
What's the difference, Brian?
I'm learning here.
Are you? Well, that's good. Because I saw you, Brian, at Wembley '86, and I was up in the gods. And I saw everybody on that pitch doing the Radio Gaga hands, which was just amazing. What was something like that for you on stage, realising the power that Queen had?
It was incredible, and it is incredible. I still kind of have to pinch myself sometimes to believe all that actually happened all around the world. We were just boys with ideas and dreams, and I think what happened probably, exceeded the wildest dreams we could have possibly had. So yes, it's amazing, and I never take it for granted. I think it's a wonderful thing. It's great we have Adam now, and we can still go out there, or we can go there. I mean, there's a period where we couldn't, but we can again, and to see those faces and see those hands in the air and listen to the way people sing Queen songs, it's quite extraordinary. That's not the way we started. We started off as boys singing songs, and people would go, "Don't you know any Led Zeppelin?" It's a long journey to getting to that place where everybody knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
The Queen shows are interactive, and it's been a great thing.
Yeah, but if push came to shove, you could play Stairway to Heaven, I take it.
Probably not. Probably not.
Kerry, when are you back on the musical theatre stage then?
I'm actually on tour at the moment with a show called Wonderland, which is an adaptation of Alice in Wonderland. I'm not in the entire tour, but I'm doing all the big cities, and it's a great fun show. It's written by Frank Wildhorn, and music's great, and everybody seems to enjoy it. It's a good family show, and so I am on stage with that at the moment.
Yeah. Brilliant. Brian, I can't let go without asking you about your other career. And I myself am looking forward to, as you will, I'm sure, to January the 1st, 2019, when the New Horizons spacecraft hits the Kuiper Belt object MU-69. Will that be an exciting day in your life?
You're right on it, aren't you? Yeah. It hits the Kuiper Barn, as I call it. I will hopefully, I would like to be in the control room when that happens, when the information comes back. I was lucky enough to be there when they did the flyby of Pluto, and it was an incredibly memorable experience for me. Big thrill, and I was able to put the first stereo close-up picture of Pluto together in that control room. And I love those guys. They're all heavy metal freaks, or at least some of them are. Science and rock music seem to go together very well. So they've become good friends, a lot of those people. And I so much admire what they've done. What incredible, what an adventure, to visit those planets. Pluto was a little dot when I was a kid, and that's all you knew about it, and it was probably cold out there. Now we know it in great detail. We see it in intimate close-ups. What a wonderful thing to pull off.
Yeah, I am very envious of your rock career and your science career, Dr. May.
Thank you.
And good luck with the tour. Good luck with the new album. It's called Golden Days. Brian and Kerry Ellis, thank you so much indeed for joining us this afternoon here at BBC Radio Oxford. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
BBC Radio Oxford.
Your time saver travel.